Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Silver Swanner channel. This is the fourth video in my US typeset series, and like last week we're going to be dipping into my collection and pulling out a couple of coins to fill into my typeset. This week we'll be looking at dimes. So I've accumulated some dimes over the years as part of my silver stacking philosophy. So I have a roll of Barbers, a roll of Mercury dimes, and a roll of silver Roosevelt dimes. So these are mainly junk status. They don't have a lot of numismatic value. So again, these will just be hole fillers for the time being in the typeset book. As such, we're not really going to discuss much today about the history of these dimes. I'll save that for the upgrade video when I go ahead and get better examples of each of these coins to add to the typeset. Finally, have a couple of updates for the channel. I'm going to post a link either here or here about my giveaways that I'm doing. So if you're interested in winning some free stuff, please go ahead and click that link. I'll also leave a link in the description below and go find out more about the giveaways that I currently have or will be running on the channel. Finally, at the end of this video, I will calculate up my total running costs so far for the typeset, and we're going to try something new this week. I'm going to take a picture of each page in the typeset. I'll put that up on the screen for a couple of seconds, and so if you're interested in following along with the entire typeset, seeing what we've added, what I've added previously, you can check out the end of the video where I'll have those pages. So let me take you in and let's get hunting for some dimes. Okay, welcome back everyone. I have you on the desk now and I have all my dimes laid out here. So let's go ahead and tear into these and see if we can't find a couple halfway decent specimens to put in the typeset. So I have here 3 Clad Roosevelts. All of them look like they are in halfway decent shape, pretty good luster on them still. I think with these though that the one that I like the best here was this 2019 Philadelphia. You can see it's got some good luster. If I can get it to focus there we are. See the full bands on the torch still. It's got good definition on it. So that's what we're going to take and throw into the typeset for the modern Roosevelt Clad dime. Oops, and I dropped it. And I dropped it again. All right there. So that's our Roosevelt dime Clad. That was the easy one. Next thing we're going to open up here is this tube of Barbers. So like I said in the introduction, I have this tube of Barbers. I bought mainly for their junk value status here, but we're going to see if we can't find a halfway decent example. So let me take you in a little bit and let's take a look through these. And what I'm looking for here is something fairly nicely dated, obviously, or excuse me, with a date rather, and with some good definition on it. So when I'm looking at the definition, what I'm looking at mostly here is the wreath around his head. That's going to be the obverse of the coin, and that's going to be my best tell of the quality of that particular coin is just by taking a look at the wreath. So that first one we did was probably the best looking one I have. I think if I remember, usually when I put these dimes in the tubes after going through them, I usually leave the best looking specimen on top. So that's probably going to be the case for all of these dime tubes. And right now I'm not seeing anything else that has any more detail of that wreath. The rest of them are just completely slick. That one's got a little something. That dime also, the first one here has some nice coloring that really helps some of that detail pop. This one almost looks cleaned. Like I said, these were just bought as junk silver. They weren't bought for their numismatic value at all. So you'll see some that look maybe clean. You'll see some like this one that has a scratch on it. So there was some nice meat left on that one, but because it's scratched, we're not gonna take that one. Again, a lot of these are missing a lot of that detail, and that's okay. Like I said, these are just to fill holes. I plan to get better examples of the pennies we did last week, of the dimes that we're doing here. Really just utilizing, that one looks pretty scratched up. What I have in my collection today to fill some holes, this 1897 looks pretty decent. I think that's going to be our second best candidate. All right, the last handful here. Again, looks like another cleaned one. I think those are probably going to be my top 3 right now. All right, so of those 3, let me take them up a little bit closer to the camera here. And let's get a little bit more detail on them and see if we can't make a decision on which one we think is best. All right, so this 1897 here has some sort of spot right on its face. The rest of the detail on this one, if I can get this to focus, looks really, really nice. You can see you got good detail in that wreath. Can't tell if that's some sort of pitting on the C or just some dirt. Looks like just dirt. And again, the back here has pretty nice details in the wreath there as well. You can see at the ends of those wreaths, like it looks like that's a wheat. You can see the individual kernels. So I'm pretty happy with that one. I'm going to set that one to the side. That's definitely, I think, my top candidate right now. This is the initial one that I thought was best here. You can see we lack some of that detail in the wreath. It does have that discoloration, but that looks more like just natural toning. And you can see again here on the reverse, you know, we lack some of that detail in the wreath like we had on the previous one. So I'm going to set that one down. I think I'm going to pass on that one. Here's the last one that, again, looks pretty cleaned. You'll notice this one, relative to the other one, has some more scratches. And it's kind of hard to see that. It's got some scratches on the obverse there, which doesn't make it a great candidate. You can see, again, on the reverse here at the wreath, especially, it looks not quite as detailed as that other dime. So I think that's my choice for the barber dime. So I'm going to go ahead and slide those over. Get this out of the way. Let's break into the next tube here. All right, so these are the Mercs. I actually have a tube of Mercs here. And then don't laugh at me again. I got the best of Littleton again. These were 5 dimes that I bought at Spot. They're 1941 to 1945. On the Mercury, I'm going to be paying attention for the winged part of the headdress here and how much I can see the detail on those feathers there to make the determination. For these particular set of dimes here, the 1945 I think look the best. I'm probably going to have to take those out of the plastic. So let's go through the existing roll of the Merc dimes that I have here, see if we can't find a good example, or if I need to crack open that little tin package and choose the one I had my eye on in there. So, again, stick the better examples up there. These are going to take me a little bit longer because I think these are going to be in much more equal status relative to each other. Let me make sure, yep, that's all in the frame here. Some of these are clearly that one's pretty bad. I guess most of these aren't going to be too great. On the obverse, obviously, on the I think it's a bundle of sticks, we're looking for how many bands we got on that reverse. Again, I'm not as concerned with the reverses because you're not going to see that as much. Also need to pay attention how worn down the In God We Trust on the obverse is. That one's got a decent amount of detail, but it's got some toning on it. Again, I'm going to be pretty particular when I go ahead and get the permanent ones for things like that. Again, these are just hole fillers, so I'm not super concerned about the overall luster or even if it's the best of these examples. I'm going to try, obviously, here just briefly to look through the ones I have that's scratched and pick out the best one, but if there's a better example or two, like I said, ultimately this isn't the long-term one that I'm keeping in here. That one almost looked kind of nice. It's got a nice big gouge in it. It's got some, it's like some sort of coloration, some almost like turquoise. That's sad because that was a halfway decent one. So I think I am going to open it up and take a look at these. Let me grab the knife. And this set I wanted to look at was the 1945. It says here that you can see these are average circulated, so I'm not expecting these to be in much better condition again. Was this 1945 here. Just go through the rest of these. They're a little bit better than the ones I had for sure. All right, I think I'm going to take that 1945, so I've got 4 pulled out here. Let me pull them in, and let's talk through these and see which one looks best. So I like that 1945 here. The lights are giving luster on that 43. I think this 1941 we're going to put down. That one's pretty well toned. Let's compare these two on the back. Can definitely see, I think this top one, this 43 is out based on the reverse. And it looks like here, this one on my right, we've lost more of the bands. It's got a little bit better color to it. I think we're going to go with this 1945. So that was the one that came in my little tin. So we've got our Clad, we've got our Barber, we've got our Merc now. So last but not least is the Silver Rosies. And I think I've got a tube and a start of a tube here. So let's dump these out and let's take a look at these. Again, with these, colors going to be more important. The Rosies seem to be a little bit better designed, just because they didn't wear on the obverse as much. On the reverse, again, it has that kind of torch that has bands in it, like on the Merc. So we'll be looking closely at that as well. Again, like I said, you saw me pull the first one. That was the first one I had in the tube, so probably one of the better examples, although it's a little discolored. So these are probably going to be a little harder for me to decide, just because they're all going to be in about similar conditions. that's 64. Another good 64. It's got a little coloration along the top of his head. That's an easy no, no. That would be good, but that has a whole bunch of dings on it. Weird coloration, scratched, damaged. A lot of these are pretty easy to say yes or no on. All right, and let me get the small handful here. I got another mark in here. Actually, I got a couple marks. This is mostly marks. So this is just I guess a mixed roll where I had a little bit of an overflow. So those marks, none of them look any better. We're going to put those aside. Then I have a decent 1961 and a 1964. All right, so let me bring some of these up close, and let's see if we can't pick out under camera a better looking example. There's a lot more. And again, like I said, I'm not going to be super picky. If there is a better one or two, you know, I'm planning on getting better examples here. So this one has some stuff on the face. We're going to get rid of that. All right, so let's do a back comparison. So I think this one we can get rid of. This center one here, this 1964, I think that's going to be my choice. All right, so I've got the 4 dimes selected. Let me go ahead and get these dimes out of the way, and let's bring in the typeset book. Okay, so I have the typeset book out now. Let's go ahead and move these dimes to the side for a minute. Should be on the 3rd page, I believe. That is the top. All right, so first it'll be the barber. Of course, I didn't get that nearly as straight. It's kind of hard with these gloves. There we go. So there's the barber in there good. Then we'll do the merc. And we will do the Roosevelt Silver and the Roosevelt Clad. All right, so here's the Silver Rosie. I'm getting the hang of this much better. And our Clad Rosie. Excellent. All right, so let's get you in a little bit closer. You can see, there we go. There's our 4 coins. And I have to say, I'm very happy with those 4. I got 4 more holes filled. So let me throw up on the screen my total cost at this point. These did not cost me all face value, so the silver ones, I'll put up what their cost was, and then I will do a page, or a photo rather, of each page so you can see the progress we've made so far. Okay, and my running cost for the dimes, starting from the bottom up here for the Rosie Clad, was face value 10 cents.
The Roosevelt silver dime was $1.35, so I paid 13.5 times face, which wouldn't you love to be able to pay that today for junk silver? I think I bought that in May 2020, if I recall right. I bought the Merc dime, actually from Littleton Coin, believe it or not, at face value. I think I paid $9.95 for the set of 5 of them, which was just under $20 times face. So we'll round it up here and call it $2 for the Merc dime. And then I bought a set of Barber dimes, quarters, and half dollars for 23 times face. Probably when silver was $28, so probably almost at the peak of what silver was, late January, maybe early February timeframe. So I paid quite a bit there for them, but I was happy to get a complete set of Barber junk to add to my junk collection. So my total cost at this point is $90.76 for the coins in the typeset, $12.95 shipping, and a total cost, or a grand total rather, of $103.71. All right, and here's an overview of the typeset up to this point. Let me know in the comments if you like this feature, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos.